Welcome to this live session. We can see that according to Reuters, global shares lost ground while the dollar caught its losses on Wednesday. That's today, the 14th of June 2023, after the U.S. Federal Reserve paused its interest rate hikes as was widely expected, but signaled that it could raise rates by another half percentage point by year end. The central bank issued new economic projections that suggested borrowing costs were likely to rise by another half of a percentage point by the end of 2023 due to a stronger than expected economy and a slower decline in inflation. It said that holding the target interest rate range steady at this meeting allows the committee to assess additional information and its implications for monetary policy. The rate setting Federal Open Market Committee said in a unanimous policy statement that issued at the end of its latest two-day meeting. Okay, in this way, policymakers can maintain some flexibility depending on how the economy and inflation progress. Looking at the resilience of the economy keeps the Fed on high alert rather than letting its guard down too soon, according to Angelo Kourkafas, senior investment strategist at Edward Jones in St. Louis. The message is clear from CPI and PPI that we continue to see progress, but with inflation still above the 2% target, the Fed cannot yet declare victory, he said. The idea of any rate cuts is off the table this year. Okay, so after the Fed statement, the Dow Industrial Average deepened its losses, falling 388.86 points, or 1.14% to 33,823.26. The S&P 500 turned negative and last down 23.81% or points, or down 0.54% at 4,345.2. Okay, let's see what the S&P is doing right now. It's currently at 4369 right now, 4369 or thereabouts. So that's we can actually validate that from using SPX, S&P futures, S&P 500 futures. It's at 4369. Is that what we have here as well? 4369. Yes, SPX is at 4369 right now. We're counting down to the close of the session. We have 20 minutes before the market closes. So Nasdaq also turned red, dropping 770, dropping some 7.68 points, or 0.57% to 13,495.65. So let's refresh and see what's going on with these indexes. So Nasdaq is at 13,600. Yes, okay. It has actually gained more. So the MSCI gauge of stocks across the globe shed 0.23 after rising as much as 0.61% earlier in the session. Okay, so yes, a couple of things going on there. So let's see the stocks we had in focus here. Let's see. We had Tesla. Let's see what Tesla is doing right now. Okay, Tesla is trading at $256.32. This is the 1 minute live chart showing strength, showing strength, and it reached. It was actually dropping at some point in this session. And it's now recovering, trying to reach the highs of this session. It reached the highs of 400. It reached okay, this is the weekly chart. So right, okay, so that's the weekly chart, not the 1 minute live chart. So but in any case, it's in the weekly chart, it's showing strength. So let's look at the 1 minute live chart and see what's going on there with Tesla. So this is the 1 minute live chart for Tesla. It's trading out at $255.86 right now. Upper projection of 256.18, 257.27, 260.08. Those are the projections for Tesla. Okay, let's quickly look at MULN. MULN has continued to consistently print 52-week lows, trading at $0.2287. It doesn't seem like the bottom is anywhere near. Doesn't seem like we're going to find any bottom for MULN anytime soon. There's no news. Okay, there is some news. Let's see what the news is for MULN. Okay, will MULN's proposed state of incorporation move trigger another lawsuit? Let's see. So MULN, okay, the stock on focus. The stock is in focus after the company released their proposals of its annual meeting of stockholders on the 3rd of August. Front and center is Proposal 4, which seeks approval for a state of incorporation change to Maryland from Delaware. The EV company had previously proposed this change in a prior special meeting of stockholders, which led to an MULN stockholder filing a class action lawsuit. The lawsuit was later dropped, but resulted in Mullen rescinding its proposal. If it is successful if it is successful in causing Mullen to reincorporate in Maryland, the board will have made it more difficult for stockholders to bring action against its members, said the shareholder who filed a class action. It will also gain the ability to change the number of authorized shares of Mullen stock without seeking shareholder approval. Okay, so Mullen proposed move to Maryland draws controversy. Mullen provided several reasons for its proposed move to Maryland in its proxy statement. The first is that Maryland will allow its board to increase or decrease the number of authorized shares of any class of stock without stockholders' vote. The company adds that it spent $927,000 last year seeking stockholder approval for a reverse split and for increasing the number of authorized common stock. Mullen's second reason for moving to Maryland is that it will be able to initiate a reverse split in a ratio no more than 1:10 in a 12-month period without approval of stockholders. Such a provision provides the board and the company increase their flexibility to reduce in a proportional manner its outstanding shares of stock, potentially providing financing and capital markets benefits, according to Mullen. The Maryland Charter will not deny this power, and therefore the board will have this power. Another reason to make this move is that Maryland does not have a franchise tax for corporations. During the fiscal year ended September 30th, 2022, Mullen paid roughly $130,000 in Delaware franchise taxes. Finally, other reasons for the move include elimination of appraisal rights, the flexibility of distributions, and stockholder protections in the event of an unsolicited takeover attempt on penny stocks and low volume stocks, with only the rarest exceptions. Investor plays that's okay. So Modern is trying to reconstitute reconstitute, just trying to move its incorporation to Maryland, it seems. So down a huge 29.39% in this regular session of today, the 14th of June. So let's quickly have a look at SOFI. SOFI is up 2.22% in this regular session. Okay, there's something here from Investor Place. 3 fintech stocks with high potential for growth. Let's see what they're saying for SOFI. Financial technology industry continues to reshape the landscape of traditional banking and payment systems. Investors are eagerly exploring the fastest horses in this rapidly evolving race for innovation. This article explored the three fintechs, fintech stocks with exceptional growth potential. Let's see. Okay, one of them is SOFI. It says by leveraging its broad reach and high engagement products, SOFI aims to build a wide-reaching fintech ecosystem. In doing so, SOFI hopes to drive cross-buying and improving unit economics. This approach is also expected to drive strong member growth with the adoption of multiple products, creating a productive financial services productivity loop. Notably, SOFI has witnessed strong growth in its lending segments with a significant decrease in customer acquisition cost per loan. These positive results demonstrate the effectiveness of SOFI strategies and its ability to manage expenses while achieving growth. SOFI's involvement in the student loan business positions it well to capitalize on a long-term demand for student loans. Yes, ongoing discussions about potential policy changes continue. However, the company remains confident in the growth prospects of the student loan market, given the ever-increasing cost of education in the US. By offering loan products with a lower cost and improved financial outcomes for borrowers, SOFI aligns its commitment to the student loan market with its broader strategy. Okay. So yes, currently as things stand right now, we have on SOFI a downward projection of $9.68, 9.63. This is on a 1-minute live chart. So let's look at the daily chart. Yesterday we covered SOFI on its own. So on the daily chart, so this, I think the stock has continued to continue to rally. Has continued to rally. I believe this is the daily chart. So let's quickly go back and see what's going. It seems it's has continued to print higher highs, I want to believe. So while we're looking at that, we are watching S&P 500. We're counting down to the close of the session. We have 9 minutes before the market ends. Okay, today again, yes, another 52-week high. Price reached the new 52-week high of $10.23. This exceeded the previous high of 9.61 by 0.62, and it is 141.27% above the 52-week low of $4.24. Let's refresh this and make it yeah, yesterday printed a 52-week high, I want to believe. Yes, one. So this is 1 2, 3, probably the fourth 52-week high it's printing in less than a week. So yes, but the algos we're using here are not projecting anything further for SOFI. Yes, we pointed that out yesterday. So let's look at the weekly chart. The weekly chart is indicating a projection of 11.65, so we're going to stick with that weekly chart. 11.65 1 month chart. Let's see, there's nothing there, no projection. So 11.65 for SOFI. Okay, let's see what's going on with Apple. Counting down to the close, we have roughly 6 minutes and some fraction to the close of the session. Apple is on the 1 minute live chart. We have most extreme upper projection of $184.31, downward projection of $183.29, 182.69. Let's look at the daily chart and see what we have there. See how the stock has been rallying since early this year. 5th of January has continued to extend, has continued to rally, just like the broader market. 125 was that low. This should be the 52-week low, I want to believe. Yeah, not the 52-week low, something like that, something close to that. So on the daily chart, we have upper projection of 185.17 and 193.48. Any news concerning Apple? Okay, so let's quickly have a look at NKLA, Nikola. So the stock is up 18.71%. That's actually giving up some of the gains it ran up in this session. So okay, before we go back to the 1 minute live chart, so we have upper projection of 1.48, 2.11. Okay, let's look at the projections. Let's look at the news. As a matter of fact, let's look at the news for Nikola. Why Nikola is up 15% today. Let's see. The stock is climbing higher today as investors react to the recent May Consumer Price Index data released yesterday. That May CPI data showed that inflation is finally starting to cool down. That's the good news for Nikola and other companies that went public via SPAC mergers. Rising inflation has been weighing on companies that went public via SPACs for a couple of reasons. That includes rising interest rates and costs. This matters more to these companies as many of them aren't yet generating cash flow and still require external financing to grow. What investors are really hoping for is that the Federal Reserve cutting interest rates. What investors are really hoping for is the Federal Reserve cutting interest rates, but it's not really going to do that anytime this year, it seems. So according to Barron's, if the organization lowers rates as inflation slows, it could be a positive catalyst for Nikola stock and other SPACs that need more money to expand. Investors will also keep in mind that the Fed has been meeting yesterday and today to go over the May CPI data. That means traders could get an update on its interest rate plans later today. How this news affects Nikola stock. So shares of Nikola are seeing heavy trading alongside positive sentiment. This means that 38 million shares and counting on the move as of writing. Okay, let's get the volume for Nikola. Let's get the volume for the stock. Let's get that volume. NKLA. So 116.125 has now crossed, actually more than this is almost 4 times what we have here. So for comparison, the company's daily average trading volume is below that at about 32 million shares. So okay, so it is the stock is still down 52.7% year to date. Investors can learn more about the okay. So that's why the stock was on the move, because of interest rates. Because of interest rates, they still rely on hedge funds to fund their operations, and hedge funds also dip their hands into the lending market to get the funds they need to, fund Nikola. So we have let's go back to the 1 minute live chart and see what the projections are for Nikola. We have it's cooling off from the highs of this session, 1.17, so it has a downward projection of 0.995 on this 1 minute live chart. It has 1.29, so the projections on the 1 minute chart are the projections are much more ambitious. 1.29 over there. Before that we have 1.21. Before that we have 1.18. So Nikola on the move. Investors are reacting to the news that the Fed has paused raising rates, and it is deemed as a positive for stocks like Nikola. So let's look at AMD. AMD, another stock I want to believe. I'm not really sure it has. It's making the most of the generative AI buzz as much as Nvidia has. So right now we are before the market close. Market's closing anytime soon. We are looking at the S&P 500 as well, holding at for S&P futures 4371, and showing strength there, going by its momentum. But let's return to AMD. So projections is, trying to rally into this close. Yeah, it's actually moving towards the height of the session. As a matter of fact, that projection, it's touched slightly. It was at 127.56, and above that is 128.41, and there are downward projections. We have this is on the 1 minute chart. We have 127.25. We have 127.02. We have 126.85, all the way down towards 125.31. Definitely one of the most active stocks in this session. Let's see, AMD, definitely one of the most active stocks. Definitely, it has to be because of the huge volumes that have crossed the tape. 94.38 million shares crossed the tape for AMD. So let's look at WETG. The market has now closed for today, the 14th of June. WETG is rallied towards the end of this session. It's now in the post-market session, trying to cool off a bit, and it has a downward projection of 14 points. It's down on that projection, 14.98 on its it has a Fibonacci projection, $14.98. Below that it is 14.5, and below that is 14.3. Let's quickly look at the daily charts, and then we'll have trying to find out why it was rallying. Daily chart, it's all bunched up. It's consolidating. It's been consolidating for like forever, since the whole of this year. It's been doing just that. So let's look at we have price action momentum is just dropped now. Let's find what the news is. Let's see, investor place. One of the biggest movers to the upside in today's choppy market is WeTrade Group, the company which calls itself a global diversified software as a service technology service provider, is seeing incredible interest from a key announcement around the company's use of artificial intelligence today. The announcement has led to an incredible 75% surge in WETG stock at the time of writing this, at the time when they wrote that. So WeTrade's specific announcement centers around the launch of a large-scale language processing model based on AI technology. This tool is expected to be used to handle article tag excerpts, news content abstract production, text error correction, text information extraction, short text similarity filtering, and other functions. Currently in the beta stage of development, this model is reportedly being integrated within Tencent's WeChat. Within Tencent's WeChat, under the account WeTrade Group AI. User adoption and interest around the large language model appear to be driving this stock at an incredible run today. So the WETG stock surges on AI anticipation. So they've seen a common playbook used by many companies in tech space of late. Seemingly, any technology company with a product or service that can be tied to artificial intelligence is finding a way to do so. Mentions of AI on earnings calls can explode higher. For those who haven't noticed, there's an AI revolution on the way, and investors want any sort of leverage to this growth area the market can provide. Of course, OpenAI's ChatGPT large language model got the party started. Once users were able to see what AI could provide, it was game on for WeTrade Group. Today's move appears to be the result of very similar enthusiasm, given the size and importance of the Chinese market for companies looking at leveraging artificial intelligence technology. This launch could result in some very interesting moves from here. Suffice to say, WETG stock is one that made its way onto the watch list of this of the author of this publication. Okay, so WETG WeTrade Group. It's gained 70.5%. So let's move on to the next one. Let's see what the S&P is doing. It's recovering, and at some point it actually reached spiked all the way beyond 4,400. So we are trying to get a rebound in that direction. So I'm going to increase my position in S&P 500 futures. Desired size, let's see. Okay, modified my position in the S&P futures. Okay, so let's move on to the last one. LAES. Oh, Seals. Okay, Seals SQ. Let's see, LAES. What does that say? Seals SQ Corp. It gained 69.76% and clean off from those highs in this post-market session. There's apparently no news concerning the stock, so it has an upper projection of 16.91, 17.19, all the way towards $19.1 on the 1 minute live chart. So let's look at the daily chart and see what's going on there for SEALS SQ. Okay, it's not been trading for a very long time, so there isn't a huge amount of data around the stock. Very tiny float, it seems. Yeah, very tiny float, very tiny float. Okay, listed on the last month, about 2 weeks ago, it listed on the Nasdaq, so it's not been around for a long time. Okay, let's see whether we can conclude with Nikola again. Okay, Nikola stock appears to be rallying within a longer term bearish trend. Let's modify this. So Nikola stock NKLA appears to be rallying within a longer term bearish trend, driving its MACD above its signal line, and it's up. It gained 19.26% in the regular session of today, the 14th of June 2023, on above average volume of 87.6 million shares. And it is believed that it is rallying because it rallied because the Fed has paused its interest rate hikes, and it's believed that it's a positive for Nikola because Nikola is still growing and still needs funding. As such, the hedge funds that provide those funds will find it a lot easier to borrow. So what we saw last year and before, I would say all the way, when I would say the last. All the way towards maybe 2019, when we saw very cheap lending. It was what funded a lot of companies like Nikola and all that stuff. But be very careful. There's a good chance we're not going to get back to very low interest rates. There's a good chance we're not going to get back there, because it seems the Fed has been signaling this, that we are going to go back. There's a good chance we're going to go back to a regime where they don't interfere in the markets. They don't interfere in the markets. They don't provide cheap credit. Interest-free lending. There's a good chance that's going to pass. There's a good chance your mortgage might get towards double digits. So the era of 0% interest rates, from the Fed or from the fund rates, Fed fund rates may be a distant past now. It may not come back again. So if market participants are reacting to the pause of interest rates, well, maybe they are reacting that because of the fact that maybe at least since things are a bit stable now, or going to be a bit stable. But in any case, they reacted because, according to what Investor Place and some other publications are saying, because the Fed paused its interest rate hikes. Because interest rate inflation is ebbing, it's slowing down, but the economy is also still very strong. So the economy is still very strong. U.S. economy is still very strong. The Fed also, it's good, but the Fed also is not absolutely very happy at that. It's not as if the Fed is not. I mean, maybe not. That's not exactly the best choice of words. But in a strong economy that the US has right now, it means employment is likely to be very good. Employment rate of unemployment is not still very low. The Fed wants it to be high. The Fed wants unemployment to be high, because when unemployment is rising, then it eats into inflation. It cuts inflation back. But it's now seen that inflation is moderating. Maybe that's why it now paused interest rates. Its major focus is unemployment. So I know I have digressed, but that's the nature of what Nicola has brought. Nicola has it seems it has its hands in what the Fed is doing, which is interest rates, and that's by association with the hedge funds that lend that provide the funds it needs to keep growing. So that's how Nicola seems like it's a broad market stock. It's that's how it's looking like. It's a stock that has a very broad appeal, going all the way towards touching macroeconomic issues, So, but in any case, that is amongst the things behind this rally we are looking at right now. In 19 points, ultimately a gain of 19.26%. But we can actually see what actually happened today. So the gain was actually more than that. So we have that it reached 1.17. So let's see, 1.17. It gained 0.17. So 0.17 was okay. Let's do that maths. Okay, 1.09 minus 0.176, 0.914. So at some point it reached 1.17. So 1.17 minus 1.17. So actually, okay, the gain actually was at some point 28%. Again, 28% at some point. So this is the 1 minute chart for Nicola in this post-market session. It is it has a downward projection of 1.08 and all the way towards down towards $1.1. Okay, and but it has upper projections of 1.11, 1.13, 1.15, 1.16. We have this is 1.18. This is above the highs of this session. 1.18, 1.21, and 1.29. So those are the projections for Nicola. Rallied on the news that the Fed has paused interest rates. See what you make of all of these, and indeed Nicola stock, and I'll continue to update you. Thank you very much for joining this live session and watching this video concerning Nicola.